And then the other one I was going to mention here is just defining the how, who, what, where, when, whys. Do you have that anchor chart up in your room? I know that Kayla had one that was along those lines. It would have been a coaching move that we talked about with her, but I'm not sure if we specifically connected the dots on that.
What is that?
Yeah, so a thought would be that we'd have an anchor chart here that says who, right, and has that question word, and then people.
Oh,
right.
No, I don't have that.
Animals, right, and then like little drawings.
No, I just have the question words listed, but not descriptions on there.
Yeah, so I think if we have those little descriptions there, then it's going to give them a sense of, okay, when I see a question with this stem, I know this. And then that can tie into the types of annotation that you're talking about as well.
Right. I like that.
Awesome. And thanks for capturing this in the notes.
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. So those are some of my thoughts related to this. Anything else that you were thinking specifically related to this multiple choice question? And then let's move on to the open responses. Cool. Let's do it. I saw question 6 and question 8 as being the lowest performing here related to RIK1. So the first one is, what about this text lets you know it is probably that type of text, right? And then the second one, that question 8, is asking in the text, it says, people said you won't go far. What did the people mean and why did they think that? Let's focus on, you mentioned 8 first. Let's talk a little bit about that one.
So, let's see, the most common distractor. I just wrote that answers were either illegible or did not even mention the words that they were supposed to explain the meaning of. Didn't capture anything that was relevant to the question. That was the basis for zeros.
Yeah.
For the answer. I didn't bring any. Darn, sorry.
It's all good.
But I feel like this was an inferential question. Like, using text evidence, using your schema, and then asking yourself, like, what does that make me think? Should have been the process for them answering this question, because you won't go far. It's very possible that they haven't heard that before. You won't go far, or they haven't heard it in.
Yeah, and I think it's like the idea here. I mean, this is certainly like inferential, but inferential particularly about word meaning and about phrase meaning. And so, yeah, I just saw them as students confusing like literal and non-literal meaning. You know what I mean? Like, you won't go far, like you physically won't travel a distance. You know what I mean? Versus you won't go far, as in you like won't accomplish your goals, right? Understanding that there are like those shades of meaning. And so I think that like some of it is also related to some background knowledge and just like building out their sense of different idioms, expressions, and things like that. And one of the ways and strategies that we can use here to get at that, a lot of classrooms, particularly in like 3rd grade, I've seen this in I think Abbott's and Camille's space, they have just like an idiom of the week. Right? Just like a little expression.
That's
Maybe
awesome.
It's something that you came across in the text as you were like going about your planning, and you said like, let me just put this on here and we'll focus on it and we'll answer it across this week. But provide it, put it there, post it like right underneath the light switch on the way out the door. And so every day or every week, depending on how frequently you want to switch it up, they get a chance to see a new one.
I love that idea because it's just direct. Because I think, as I was thinking there, like, what can I do? The reason why I didn't have anything there, I think I was getting too involved.
Yeah.
Like, how can I put it into a lesson?
Yeah.
Which, there's no problem integrating it into like the discussion.
Yeah.
It's like coming up in the on the page, but that's a really good idea.
Yeah. I think it's just a way, it's not necessarily, to your point there, like not necessarily going to like reteach it, but it's going to increase exposure.
Yeah.
And build the habits of like thinking critically about words and what they mean, and when they mean exactly what they say and when they don't mean exactly what they say.
So I can look into upcoming texts to see if there are any. But I can also just
Search idioms. common idioms. And then specifically though related to this idea of figurative language and this idea of word meaning there, it seemed like they had difficulty interpreting the figurative language, particularly in the sense that they had to make a connection to an earlier part of the text.
Yep.
Right? And they had to connect this detail here with an attribute that they learned about this person before, right? They had to connect it that like this person's only got one arm. Oh, okay, so when they're saying we won't go far, they mean like that he's got this limitation that's going to keep him from succeeding. So I think that it'd be really important here for us to just highlight in the text, similar to how we have an idiom of the week or the day on the board there, highlight in the text one word meaning question in a read aloud or a reading comprehension on a daily basis, because I think that it's just a good way to I mean, one, like, it should be something that we're doing naturally. You know what I mean? Like, if you were to come across an interesting, like, shade of meaning thing in your own book, you would stop and you would think about that for a second. Okay, what does that mean? And in the same way, like, if we come to that, you know, if we suspect that students aren't going to understand it right away, we should take a second to analyze it. And so, what do you think would be a good question to them to kick that off if they come across like a piece of figurative language or an idiom or something like that where you want to interpret the word's meaning? Or the phrase meaning?
Maybe the broader question at first could be, what do you think the author means by that?
Yeah.
Or, like to start off and then we can...
Yeah. What did the author mean? What did the character mean when they said that? That really closely aligns with the questions that we have here.
And then I would, to your point about connecting it to something that they read previously, a really important follow-up question could be, I guess it would be really specific to the story.
But I think it is true. Like when they have to look back at prior context clues. So it's like, what do we already know about this character, or about this event, or about this person, or about this, whatever it might be. What do we already know about them? And that's an opportunity for them to elicit. Ooh, computer.
Yeah.
Who's that for?
Hey, how's it going?
Do you want it?
Kyle.
Allison, thank you. Appreciate it.
Is that you?
No, that's not me. But I'm excited about it. He's been asking me about it too.
No problem.
What do we already know about this character? I think that's,
We do a time check here. We got 11:03. Is this a quick bite break? I know someone let you have your lunch. I know it's tricky.
No.
Okay, good. All right. The other question that we saw here was, what about this text lets you know it is probably blank type of text? And that was like a part B in relation to the just like choose the genre.
Right.
What did you see as the difficulty there?
Two things. Students who may have actually chosen biography did not know how to write how they knew it was a biography. So they couldn't provide evidence that it was a biography. Or students who actually chose an incorrect genre. Some of them actually said, I know this is a fable because it's about real people. So like a misunderstanding on like the distinctions between the genres.
Yeah, I'm with those two. I had identifying specific pieces of evidence to support an answer. Right. That's one possible breakdown is in the actual procedure. And the skill of being able to find the evidence that supports it. Two is like not having a full understanding, like a conceptual breakdown in terms of the definitions of the genre. And then the third one that I mentioned here, and this is kind of related to that second one, just not knowing the genre, is, cannot recall the definition and particularly the key features that are associated with that genre. Because that's where ultimately they're going to find the evidence. They're going to find it in the fact that there's, a picture of a real person. They're going to find it in the fact that the title is, tells them that it's a story about a person. They're going to find it in the fact that, like, it's true facts and information in it. those types of features are going to be like the kinds of clues that cue them into it. Cool. So we've captured some of those misconceptions. What do you think the implications are what do you think the implications are for our teacher practice moving forward?
There's a big one that I've been meaning to do.
Yeah.
I actually have the poster at home,
Yeah.
and I started it. I'm not done. The big genre poster.
Yeah.
It's going to be up by the end of this week.
Yeah.
I think that...
And that connects to K5. That was kind of like one of my big takeaways that I wanted to just follow up on because I know that it's something that we've spoken about.
A couple times, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
I just need to make it.
Yeah.
And it's not even pretty. It's just not done. But...
Your life. You got to cut that life part out.
Cut it out. I'm excited
I'm
to get it up and then use it as a discussion piece or a reference point every day.
Yeah.
During language board, during read aloud, but I think that's a big one. Them having a visual and something to remind them of this distinct features.
How about, I think just to reflect, that was one of our prior action steps related to genre. The other prior action step from our past like 3 dams has been related to daily practice determining genre and language board. Have you guys been able to like incorporate that on a regular basis, or is it something that you feel like it gets cut?
Pretty regular.
Yeah.
It's pretty regular, and we've even incorporated like circled the qualities that you can find only like in a fairy tale. And we'll have like 7 choices. We've done that a few times. That's been something that is still kind of hard for them.
Yeah.
But that's been the question we review.
Yeah.
Is that only for fairy tales?
Yeah.
But again, it's hard if I don't have the chart for them to kind of check their answers and make sure.
And I think one of the things that we've done here with biography that wasn't necessarily the case with other genres, which might lead to some of the confusion. For biography, like the definition that you put together, the definition that you like kind of built out with kids through the chant became really sticky, right? Not sure that we got to that same level of stickiness in terms of having a chant or a cheer related to the definition of some of our past genres. And so I wonder, as we go back there, making sure to reinvigorate those definitions with a sticky chant or a cheer.
I agree.
And the associated TPR, right? Like the fact that they were going facts.
Yeah.
Like it just, everyone remembered the word fact related to biography.
Agreed.
There was one more small content thing that I wanted to address here before I kind of go into like the big action step or like kind of arc of goals that we want to focus on over the next couple of weeks. And I think it is really related to the one that you brought up right at the very beginning, so I'm glad that we're already aligned on it. Question 5 in particular related to standard RIK5.
Yeah.
I believe that was excuse me. Question 2 right here related to standard RIK5. That was the one that said, and I can share this with you. According to the text, what event occurred in 1907? Smaller action step here, but what do you, related to this one, but what do you see as kind of the misconception in this one?
I think that the kids assume that if the question is asking about a particular event, it's something along the lines of what Ms. Haji has taught them. So it's going to be like a person was born, or like the main idea, or the most important detail of the story. Because I think that a lot of students were choosing B. The country people use the snowmobile. Or no, I'm sorry, just made something called the ski. Choose that.
Ski dog.
Even was it ski dog? Probably just confusing what was most important / like how to go back to the text and check it.
And I think like I wanted to highlight this piece here, 1907. The fact that it was related to dates in particular there. And I think one of the things that we missed there when doing our VOE, something that I think would be really helpful, and I don't know how we incorporate it moving forward,